Well, good morning, everybody, and happy to be here. Not sure if anyone's played Tetris, but if you're in the game of getting tendon to attach to bone, you can't do that without getting regeneration of the tissue between the bone and the tendon. You know, the first rotator cuff surgery was done in 1870 by Carl Hutter. That's 155 years ago. And yet today, with a lot of technology that's been developed for this, we're still having double-digit re-tear rates. So these surgeries are still not working. And the reason that they're not working is that when we think of the classic paradigm of tendon to bone attachment, that's a misnomer. That doesn't happen. You just get scar tissue. There's nothing to invoke the healing across the junction with Sharpie's fibers that will give you continuity and strength in that surgery. So what we've done is completely flip the script. Our implant has a peg portion, a sheet portion, and it's cannulated. The peg portion, this is made out of 100% demineralized bone fiber from cortical bone. That preserves all of the BMPs, and the BMPs in bone, the bone morphogenic proteins, are not only proteins for bone. They're proteins that stimulate production of bone, collagen, and tendon. Those don't exist. All of those don't exist in the tendon. So we have a peg portion that goes 12.5 millimeters deep into the bone, and that starts a process of endochondral ossification in the bone. You're accessing the marrow space in the bone and allowing all of those endogenous stem cells to start to proliferate up this demineralized bone fiber matrix, which is an osteoconductive matrix, and to get into the tissue where the BMPs are and bring those to the sheet portion that's between the tendon and the bone to get proper healing. With us, it's not just rotator cuff surgeries that we can perform, are about 1 million procedures a year in the US. Rotator cuff alone is 500,000 surgeries. And as I said, these re-tear rates are in the double digits. So for us, this is a $2 billion TAM, and we started with rotator cuff, but we're currently in 5 anatomies.
This is Dr. Nikhil Verma, Professor and Director of the Sports Medicine and Shoulder Service at Rush University Medical Center and Midwest Orthopedics at Rush in Chicago, Illinois. I'd like to share with you our simplified technique for rotator cuff repair using the Enfix TACO demineralized bone fiber implant designed for improved rotator cuff healing and enthesis reconstruction. Our patient today is a 58-year-old right-hand dominant male with a 4-month history of right shoulder pain and a medium rotator cuff tear as seen here. The tear size is approximately 2 to 2.5 centimeters. In this case, we elected to use all suture anchors medially, and these were placed adjacent to the articular margin, which allows room for the implant. The suture tapes are placed using standard suture passing techniques. In this case, we preferred to use a Spectrum suture passer, and the tapes were placed in a mattress configuration, approximately 12 millimeters off the edge of the articular surface and leading edge of the tendon. This allows for anatomic reconstruction of the bone-tendon interface without over-tensioning of the tendon itself. Once all of the sutures are passed medially, one can then place the Enfix implant. The simplified technique utilizes a tap as well as a punch and an insertion device. First, a pilot hole is punched to the appropriate depth as indicated by the laser lines. This is placed in the center of the tuberosity. We then use a tap to create an insert area for the device to allow it to sit flush with the surrounding bone. This also accesses the marrow elements of the center portion of the greater tuberosity. Here you can see the implant, which is a demineralized bone fiber implant, which is loaded onto the insertion tool, and it's inserted such that it's flush with the surrounding bone. Once the implant is in place, it's firmly fixed, and you can see the egress of the marrow elements, which further contributes to healing. The implant is stable in its position. takes approximately less than 2 minutes for insertion time, covers the vast majority of the footprint, and allows us to proceed with our transosseous repair of the rotator cuff with a standard technique without interfering in any of the technical considerations for standard arthroscopic repair.
So that procedure takes about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes max. So it's minimally disruptive to the regular procedure that's being used, and finally gives you the opportunity for biologic healing at the interface. We launched this product in June of 23. The first year we did a limited launch with 6 surgeons. We broadened that in June of 24. Over the last 8 months, we've quadrupled the surgeons using the product. We're in 4 additional anatomies. We're sort of reaching the point now where we're doing 100 implants a month and growing beyond that. Our LTM revenues reached $1 million in February, and annualized run rate for February was $1.5 million. And we're expecting to quadruple again the number of surgeons over the next 12 months. We're fully commercialized in the US and Australia, and we just had a press release this morning announcing New Zealand as our next distribution partner. We have Dr. George Kartalian in the audience. Dr. Kartalian did the first cases in Achilles and is putting together a technique paper for us, and really proud to have you and your pioneering work with this product in the Achilles. Last year we presented a lot of preclinical data. This year for the first time we have clinical data. There are a couple of studies that have been done. This one was reported at the Australian Shoulder and Elbow Society meeting in November. This was a 12-month outcome with a cohort of 100 patients with ENFIX compared with a prior cohort, patients without ENFIX. And in this case, Dr. Popoff reported a reduction in failure rates of almost 40%. So very significant. Some of the other studies that we have are showing that whether it's ACEs or UCLA scoring, all of the pain and healing scorings are improved with the use of ENFIX. We have a growing portfolio of patents. There are all 11 million and 12 million series patents, as well as in other countries. And we were the sole winner of the AOSSM ACE Award last year. We've been fairly capital efficient. Companies raised a total of around $10 million to date. We just announced the closing of Series A, February 15th. Series A was originally targeted at $5 million. We were oversubscribed and closed at $6.5 million, and we have enough runway to get to break even, we hope, by the end of this year. Leadership team is experienced with transactions in adjacent spaces, and largely the team that transacted with the same technology for the spine space in 2022 to Isto Biologics. And so in summary, I think the bottom line there, if folks recognize the Fro, who said rotator cuff augmentation is here to stay. If you're not doing it, someone else will be doing the surgeries for you. So just 18 months, we've really disrupted how the market views tendon to bone healing. We have good preclinical data. We're starting to get good clinical data. We're fully commercialized in 3 countries now. We've delivered almost 1,300 implants in 20 months since launch, and are showing re-tear rates reduced by up to 40% with an experienced team, and in an exciting area where there are very strong exits over the last 1.5 to 2 years. Thank you.